There are 83 left. There are 83 days left of Halloween. By the time I get this uploaded, there's going to be like an hour left in the 83rd day, and I don't care. You saw the title of this episode. We don't got time. I'm making a short episode today because it's a TV show, A. B, it was already the length of a movie. And C, like, this isn't a movie that, like, not a lot of people, like, this is a thing that a lot of people have talked about and have, like, dissected the shit. And I'm only doing the first episode because it was so much longer than I thought. But, oh my God, it was great. Like, okay. I was in another country when the first like batch of episodes came out, and I was like, I'm not gonna watch anything. I want to watch it with my girlfriend. I want to enjoy that with my girlfriend, and that's what we did. So I didn't get to watch anything, but now I've watched the first episode, and I love so much of what's going on. Like, I was fully ready to like be like, look, I know it's not really horror. I know it's not really like spooky. I know it's not really horror tinted. I mean, but you know, we did Toxic Shock. You know, if Toxic Shock can get a pass, I think Stranger Things can get a pass. They're never gonna do a Toxic Shock like house at Halloween Horror Nights, but they've done two now of Stranger Things. I'm waiting for them to do a third one. And then the last like 4 minutes of this episode are just pure horror. And I'm like, I'm so happy I made this decision. I've never made a better decision in my life. So so within the 84 days that are left to Halloween, I'm probably going to do 2 seasons of TV shows, I think. And then if this is a good format, if you guys liked this, I'll bring back more TV shows for next year. But I have a whole list of movies to go through. We'll do all of season 4 Stranger Things throughout this season of 100 Days of Halloween. And then we'll do something completely different for season 2. Because there will be a season 2 minimum. Okay, but let's actually talk about this episode. Because a lot of it is a lot of nothing. You know, like, it's setting up stuff and setting up motifs, setting up new characters, and a lot of the things we're going to talk about within the rest of the season. So like I said, it's only the first episode. I don't really have a lot to talk about besides, hey, here's where all your characters are. Like, Max broke up with her boyfriend, whose name I'm forgetting at the moment. Will still has a bowl cut. Joyce is doing weird Joyce things. I love that Winona Ryder has so much fun with this role, because every season she's like, heh. Like, she's just given some completely stupid thing to do, and it's wild. Like, last season was with the magnets. The first season it was her son being missing, and then this season it's a package. Like, she gets something every season, and it's great. Will and Dustin Pooh have joined back in with D&D Club, and I love that because, like, in season 3 they were like, "Ooh yeah, D&D's lame now because we have girlfriend." But it really warmed my heart that they were there. Long-haired, like, rocker boy, I think his name is Eddie, is instantly my favorite character. Like, he's on camera for, I think, 2 minutes, and I'm over here like, I love him. And my girlfriend's looking at me like, I know you'd like him. And I'm like, and then I had this sudden realization of, he's probably gonna die, isn't he? Like, of course, please, no spoilers when, you know, we do these longer like TV show miniseries. I do want to try to watch everything as blind as possible, but I'm watching this guy. I'm falling madly in love with his long hair and his everything. In about the 5 minutes he's on camera, the first time in the cafeteria, I'm like, I know what Stranger Things does. He's gonna die. He's gonna get murdered by the end of the season, and I'm gonna be so sad. But it's okay. We catch up with Elle, who still doesn't have any powers, who is still learning how to speak English properly. The Hellfire Club is a whole D&D mini group where the only people who look like they belong in high school is probably like Eddie, which might be his name. Will, and Dustin. Those are the only 3 characters that belong in high school. Every other member of the Hellfire Club looks like a freaking adult. Like they don't even look like a 20-year-old teenager. They look like a Spider-Man Tobey Maguire, like 30-something teenager. Like it is startling. I pointed at the one dude, the one big dude with the neck beard. I'm like, that's a grown man. That's a grown man's grown man. Like, I'm stumbling over my own damn words. I'm pointing at him, I'm like, no. I'll give you almost everything, but no. The fact that all of these kids are now, like, adults now, and they look like human beings, is also very strange. I pointed that out to my girlfriend. And because I was watching this with my girlfriend over FaceTime, I'm going to keep mentioning that, unless if you didn't know. Because we've talked about doing projects, but we haven't talked about, like, what her name's going to be. Because I'm Insane Raven. We gotta figure that out. We're workshopping it. Okay. But I was telling her, I was like, man, all of these kids now look like people, and it's strange. So Max is over here being, depressed, popping pills, and blasting out music, which I mean, that feels like high school. Dustin gets we get another cameo from Dustin's girlfriend, whose name I totally forgot. I just remember as Never Ending Story Girl. Robin is still in the show, which makes me so happy. Steve is doing Steve things. There's a freaking, that makes me happy. The fact that they bring in the Muppet, which I was like, I feel like I should know this character because of how much, they zoom in on everyone reacting to this character showing up. I completely forgot. And she was like, my girlfriend. I don't have a name. Yeah. I'm trying to workshop a name for her while she's not here, and that's not fair. So my brain's just like, ugh. She's like, yeah, it's Robin's OG crush. The Thing. And I was like, oh, right. And she's like, the Muppet. I'm like, the Muppet. And then she starts singing, and then everyone in the show, Steve and Robin's new crush, are like, the Muppet. And we're like, ha ha ha. There was also a cute moment where, Steve is like, she pauses specifically at this point. She knows, she likes boobies. Everyone's like, please stop saying boobies. And me and my girlfriend are just like, boobies. Also my brain was like, boobs, Megan, Jake and Josh. My brain was just going. I loved the side-by-side that they were doing with the basketball game and the Hellfire Club, because there are moments in the Hellfire Club where I'm like, I've had those moments both as a DM and as a player. I've had those moments where it's just like, fuck yes, and it's just great, so good. Chef's kiss. The spiders coming out of the clock was the most terrifying thing I think I've ever seen. Just absolutely terrifying. I hated every second of that. Thank you. Then I think we have to talk about Chrissy. And Chrissy, going through all of that shit. Because all of our horror basically comes from Chrissy. Whenever Chrissy shows up, it's horror time. And it's like, oh. And that made me kind of think, are we going to... Again, I've been staying away from all social media, everything. I've been trying really hard to. But that made me think, are we going to see a hashtag justice for Chrissy eventually? Or is it just going to be swept under the rug because it's at Eddie's house? I don't know. I also have in my notes, worst prep rally ever. And I did find it kind of funny. Because he's like, yeah, remember all those people that died? Let's go win a basketball game for them. He's like, dude, that's such a downer. And my girlfriend, bless her, she's like, it seemed to work. And I was like, yeah, it did seem to work. And I'm not sure if I hate that or love that more. So what else are we looking at? Oh, we're looking at, all the side characters that freaking popped in just here and there was great as well. The fact that it takes place in 86 I want to watch a movie from 86 now. Honestly, I think the next couple of days we'll probably still be watching Stranger Things. Probably. I can't confirm or deny that, but oh yeah, the stitching of the father's eyes and mouth was terrible. Hated that. I hated all the spiders that just pulled and like leaked out of things. That was awful as well. Like, I don't like spiders, which is why one of these days I have to watch a spider movie, just because I hate spiders so much. I have been given, so some of my friends are really into horror, but we don't often have time to talk about our horror experiences. So I was given like a giant fucking list of movies to kind of go through, and I will go through a good chunk of them because I have planned episodes. I have about roughly half of this podcast somewhat planned out. Somewhat. And when I say planned out, I mean like with what content I want to show and put on the channel. There's another half that I have no idea what's going on. And already, most of the episodes we've done of this podcast already have just been random episodes of like, that looks like a good movie. I was wrong. So yeah, I'm excited to see where season 4 goes. I think if I'm gonna hedge my bets, let's make some early predictions because you guys all know I don't, and I look forward to not reading any of the comment section of this video and of any of the Stranger Things videos that we end up doing until it's done. I look very much forward to that. Who lives, who dies, who tells the story? I think we can make a couple of safe bets. And I do think, and again, I know this is kind of cheating, right? Because the entire season's out. Like, people getting excited for season 5. And I'm over here like, what's gonna happen in season 4? Like, but I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen a single episode of season 4 besides the episode I'm talking about right now. So I want to make some early bets on season 4, okay? Based off of what we see happen to Chrissy at the end of this episode, and there was some trailer that saw Max flying. I think that either I think she's going to take Billy's place and be like a conduit or one of the main conduits of, I'm assuming, Vecna, since the second episode is called Vecna's Curse. So I'm gonna assume that goes on a thing. That's gonna, like, something with Max is gonna be like a main conduit for Vecna. I think Elle's probably gonna get her powers back. I feel like that's a really safe bet to make. But it's season 4, right? So someone big has to die. Like, it's the penultimate season. Because season 5, at least, I think I read somewhere that season 5 is the last season. So what big character do I think is gonna die? Maybe Hopper. Hopper might die. He was in the trailers. There's literally a pop figurine of him coming out. I know that he's alive, Plus, like, the second trailer ruined that. Totally. Which is the biggest disappointment in the world to me. I think Hopper might die. Hopper, I think, is a good bet to actually die. Because I think what's going to happen is that we'll get this whole thing where, like, they get him back. He's around for, like, 2 episodes. Because it's only, like, 9 episodes, right, in the season? I'm not checking. I don't have time. I think he checks, and then he gets killed. And then we have to, like, relive all of that, essentially. But for realsies, with where we can see the body. I don't think a Demogorgon's gonna show up. Like, we've already had one in the season recap. I can see it. Like, I can see them being an enemy in the Russian facility, but I don't think we're gonna get a Demogorgon in California or in Hawkins. I don't think we'll get one there. And I'm gonna place my bets on either Steve Harrington or what's the other? Jonathan. Will's older brother dying. One of them is going to go. That's where I'm going to make my bet. I don't know which one, but let's just say for the fun of the game, let's just say I think Jonathan gets killed. I think he dies by the end of it. Because I don't think the show... I mean, maybe. Like, those last 5 minutes were pretty heavy. But I don't think the show is ballsy enough to kill off one of the main female leads. I just don't think that's going to happen. Like, maybe Max either is in a position to die or to be killed in the next season. But I don't think she dies in this season. Like, I think she becomes very much like a foil for Billy. Where he's like, oh, well, he was a problem season 2. He gets killed season 3. I think that's similar to what they're gonna do with Max. But I don't know. I have no idea. So this is a podcast episode that is already aged poorly, like as I'm recording it. It's barely the 83rd day of Halloween. And you guys already know what happened, so none of this was entertaining. Who knows? Maybe you just like to listen to me prattle on. But, yep. Tomorrow, we're probably going to continue with Stranger Things. We might go... If we don't do Stranger Things Season 4, Episode 2, we will be doing The Reanimator. I can confirm that. Straight up. We'll be doing that off Tubi. We'll be watching The Reanimator, the original one. But what I would most likely say is that until Friday, we're probably gonna keep doing Stranger Things. Probably, because I'm on and I'm hooked. But that's just me. I'll see you guys next time. Have a happy Halloween.